Well, hello there. Lovely to see you all. I wanted to speak today about the idea of a forgotten inheritance. What is it that you can lose? And what is it that you can gain? For many of us living in this day and age, there's not much of a real inheritance we've been given. When we think of movies and things, people often inherit property, land, rights. There's a distinct benefit that ties towards the family name, things that get passed down. Now, regardless of a will as people write it, there's also a will that gets passed down. The will within someone, the desire of their hopes and their dreams. For many of us, our families might not have had much to have given us, much to offer, and much to be able to share. Who we are becomes more and more distant, a forgetfulness of who we truly are, where we truly come from, and what is rightfully ours. For many of our ancestors, they worked blood, sweat, and tears, some without pay for years and years, without land to give, or even the hopes of owning. The truth is that things are heavier than they seem, but the world we have inherited is not entirely our own. What is it that makes a man give to the children that follow him? Does tree not bear fruit? And does a fruit have a seed to grow into a tree? When we consider how many of our ancestors were, the world tried to squash out, to crush their spirits, to crush their souls, to kill them on many levels, a spiritual level, a physical level. In every turn, there was an enemy, and somehow things got passed down. Sometimes we might consider that the spiritual effect is a lot deeper than we might have thought. The spiritual will and spiritual gifts are passed down, often at death. So, who are we if we feel we have no inheritance? If we feel we're not connected to the roots, this is an illusion. So often we get caught in the inheritance being of a physical nature. But if they could not kill the spirits of your ancestors who had been through the worst trials and tribulations known to the human existence, then they cannot kill you, for you have inherited that will. So then what is it that would cause you to lose your inheritance? A distinct aspect of it would be to forget who you are. To think that you are something else. To believe that where you came from was not beautiful because of recent memories. So often we will note that there is a lot of disdain for our parents. And a lot of it is because of how it affected you, how it made you feel. Why would you say that to me? Why would you treat me that way? I thought you loved me. I thought you were here to protect me. But we forget our parents have also inherited the pain of their parents, who inherited the pain of their parents, who inherited the pain of their parents. When we consider the lineage and the trials and tears that have been passed down, the inhumane treatments that have been passed down and exchanged energetically, exchanged without thought, exchanged in every manner and way that a human can pass one thing to another. Remembering becomes a little more difficult. Or how can you remember something beautiful when your life has been nothing but pain? If we consider that many of these ancestors of ours were forced to work without pay, disregarded without pay, compensated without pay, is it no wonder that their ancestors or their descendants deal with issues around money? This is an inheritance. The healing comes when one recognizes who they were, who they are, and what they will be. The healing is not disdaining your ancestors who have felt nothing but disdain from others, looked upon with scourge, looked upon with hate, looked upon as if they were a villain, first to walk amongst the land. But what is it that makes man live? What is it that makes man breathe in the darkest days and in the darkest nights when he fathoms, who am I? And that means different things to different people based upon their ancestors because they've walked a very different journey. For someone whose parents have been deprived of right of life, deprived of the ability to buy, deprived of the ability to vote, deprived of the ability to breathe, and forced to work for nothing, that dark night is a lot darker than most others have had to bear. And in the darker the light, there is nothing cowardice about your ancestry because you are here. You are a sign of their bravery because you are here. You are listening to this tape because you are here. And what our ancestors have given us is something unseen, a silent guiding voice that navigates from the pain and leads you further towards remembrance. It is a strange thing to inherit things that are not yours, to forget your people's religion, to forget your people's tongue. And we wonder why we are different. So, what remains the same and what conquers fear and what tramples over doubt is remembrance. But if I remember who I am, then you cannot make me doubt who I am because I know who I am. So your words mean nothing. Your words are words, and my knowing is of a deeper sort. The whips to the soul coursed through the body, for the body is a soul. The father looks like his father, who looked like his father, who looked like his father, and the mother looked like her mother, who looked like her mother, who looked like her mother, for we are one body. So, coursing through your veins is the memory of every pain your family has ever experienced. That is not a trivial thing. That is not something to skip over. That is not something to belittle. That is not something to rationalize. It is something that is. And within your blood is anger. Within your blood is pain. Within your blood is you and everything that came before. So, who are you to say what you or what limit? Because you are an inheritance of a dream that transcended time. While working on a field in the night, the thought came to one of your ancestors. I would like for them to travel to another land. I would like for them to experience other things and lighter airs and sweeter fruits. You are the product of this thought, for everything's happening all at once. You are an answered prayer. Your existence is proof of this because it defies rationalization. How can you be you with what courses through your veins? How do you remain calm? How do you remain kind? How do you remain full of heart when pain flows through your veins? When all you have been given is something of deprivation. Your home was never large enough. The food was never enough. It was always a little too cold, a little too hot. Things were never just right. You persisted, and you exist, and you remain. Does the image recognize itself in a puddle of tears? Does man think himself wise if he thinks of finer words, deeper thoughts, but forgets where he came from, forgets who he is? If you have forgotten who you were, you are not who you are meant to be. For if the seed forgets the tree, it does not change the seed. The seed merely wanders and does not bear fruit because it does not know it is meant to bear fruit. So who am I to say what is possible for me when I am already an answered prayer? And there is so much power within prayer. Now, what is prayer? Speaking aloud, the hopes in a heart, the dreams, the visions, what we see but could not say, what we hoped we could touch but could not feel, what we longed to hold but ran away. Please, they say, please, let's say, please, they say, let it stay. Afterwards, over time, you were granted lighter freedom. You were granted entries into schools. Your mother could vote. Your father could work. but still ever sure. In your blood, you sense the echo of all the things left unsaid that people try to push away and try to move on and try to move forward in a world that is always the same. And if things could be different, they would be different, but things are as they are because this is how things will be. Pain in the heart passes from one heart to another, and your heart is inherited from your mother and her heart she gave her mother, who got it from her mother, who got it from her mother, who got it from her mother. Now, consider the pain in your heart. Consider that it's not yours alone. Consider that it is a burden that is shared amongst generations. Consider that it is living. Consider its strength because it has not died. Who are you to say what is possible when you are the answer to prayer in a night so dark? Who are you to put a limit on yourself and say, this is as far as I go, when your existence proves you have defied every your existence is an answer to prayer. Who are you to say you cannot? Who are you to say this is far enough? Who are you to say this is as good as it gets? Because in the darkest of night, bodies bleeding, bloody, bruised, one of your ancestors cried out, I wish for something beautiful in this hue of blue. Is it that makes man tremble, but the memories of where they had come? What is it that makes man smile, but the destinies of where he now stands? The hopes of the past, the lingering of the future. You are an answer to prayer. Your life is your inheritance. You have been given a gift, a world they only dreamed of, a world they only prayed for, a world they could only imagine, a world they could only see if they closed their eyes from the whipping and the beatings and the pain and the hurting. Who are you to say what is possible? Who are you to limit what you can be? Who are you to give up, to consider quitting when you have come so far and you do not realize it? What then is love when it is both adoration and pain? In the night, we wonder, we wander, we think to ourselves, who am I when this is all over? You will be the answer to your prayer because your life is an answer to prayer. Your existence is an answer to prayer. The prayers of those who came before you. Do you think you would go to heaven alone? What do you pray for? What do you see? What do you dream of is what you will be. Do you find yourself longing? Do you find yourself hurting? Do you find yourself wanting something brighter, better, something I could actually be? Did you forget all that you are? Did you forget all that you see? Your life is an answer to prayer, and what you pray for will be further down the line, but captured right now. What is it that you pray for? And your descendants will see.